Hello, guys. Welcome to our webinar. It's nice to see you again. Long time I didn't provide it. And finally, I'm here with you to show you our last update, Visual NAND Reconstructor 8.1. And maybe to answer on some questions related to this update. I guess that you should hear me good, right? And you can see the screen, everything. So basically, I hope we can proceed. All right, so the Visual NAND Reconstructor 8.1, it's basically the continuation of the main thing here, which we made in this update. It's continuation of new features that we implemented in VNR 8.0. So the main thing, it's a block manager. As you remember, the block manager is a new tool which we introduced in previous update, and it was the last big change. I mean, we redid interface of VNR, and we changed several things. We added several new elements, and that element, the block manager, was the last one in that huge refreshment process, let's say. Now we're gonna just improve what we got there. First of all, I'd like to show you the tool itself, how it looks like now, and then how it works. And then I'll show you what's new we added there. So let me switch to the VNR. And here we got some case. This is AU case from AU controller. And we have here two options to assemble logical image. The good old one with markers table and the new one with block manager. And firstly, let me do this with markers table, and then you will see how block manager differs from it. So I guess I will need to create the markers table. I hope that you understand what is going on here. And basically here we got the table, which is basically already adjusted. I mean, the filtering is performed and sorting and all that kind of things. And there is one last thing it might be necessary to do here. It's the selecting between duplicates. There are still duplicates here, and it's necessary to uncheck some of them and keep only the good ones. So to do this, I use this option, check LBN chain, and basically the very first block is duplicated, as you can see. So now in order to select which one to keep in sequence, which one to unselect, I need to open this block, place it here, then enable sync with dump. And basically now I can check the content of both these blocks. So this one we can see has data. If I will enable hex view, I will see that here there is a boot sector here, right? Let me put it like this, and this one seems to be just some garbage block, but you see it has some specific pattern. It's not a total noise, it's something basically. And let's see, what is this? In order to check it, I will select the separate element, and there is an option here, go to source, which allows me to jump into the previous element in order to see what's there. So in fact, I want to see how this data look like before XOR is applied to this data. So now I'm on a XOR element where XOR is applied, and now I will go one step before, and here is the let's say original data from the dump which we have in this block. And as you can see, this data is not actually data, it's not empty space, it's some garbage, it's the sometimes AU controllers have this pattern in empty blocks. And when XOR is applied to this pattern, we basically see such a data, right? And sometimes some controllers may have many duplicated blocks where one block has data and one block has such a garbage pattern. So that's why, yeah, that's the explanation of the pattern. And now let's just continue to uncheck blocks. So this one was unchecked, then I keep checking the chain, and this one is unchecked. I need to, this one has data, this one has this bad pattern, I uncheck it. And basically, if I will keep going through this sequence, I'll find that there are a lot of such blocks here, because one block has data, like this one, and this one, well, maybe not this one, but yeah, this one has that strange pattern. And this process can take quite a long time here in markers table. And one of the best new things that we got in Block Manager is the ability to kind of filter blocks to solve the problem like we see now. In fact, the Block Manager does a pretty similar thing like markers table. It just arranges blocks in a logical sequence. But with Block Manager, we try to do this in more convenient way. And yeah, so now let's see how the same process would look like in Block Manager. So the Block Manager is here. To open it, I need to click on this button. Basically, let me rebuild the table. So now it's done the same thing. It's just rebuilding the table. And here we got the list of blocks where all the blocks same way organized like in markers table. And first of all, you see the difference here that we tried to move all the important things on the same screen. So all the important necessary things that you might want to see and to change are located on one screen here. You don't need to do that additional clicks with double click on block, bringing the block into the same screen in order to see the block content. Now you see it from the very beginning. And yeah, there are some other things which I will show you in a moment. Now the main improvement, let's say, comparing to markers table, which would really save, sometimes really save the time. So here we have the same sequence where one block has data, one block has that strange pattern. And the same sequence, like same duplicated blocks would be going further and further. Check blockchain, yeah, it's here. I need to get used to this interface also. So the same number of those repeated blocks. But have a look in here. I need to switch the increment step. And here we have one additional things that is not possible to get with markers table. With Block Manager, we can test type of data in each block and predict what kind of data is there. So you see, there is an option here to determine block types. And also when you rebuild the table or build the table, utility offers you to perform this block testing. And after this test is performed, you will get here the column where each block will be, let's say, described. Either it has data, or it has something strange, or it has its empty block, and so on. And have a look. If we would just go with standard tools, standard approach, we have here a lot of duplicated blocks. But this column clearly tells us that this block has data, this block has something. And using this information, we can basically perform one more additional filtering, which was not available before, in order to uncheck all that unnecessary blocks. I'll have a look. If I will try to check the chain, I can see a lot of those duplicated blocks. And each duplicated block basically has one of those duplicated blocks has data, and other have something. So to perform filtering, I just need to click here on the filter icon and type here the rule that the filter contains the type contains data. I mean, this word data, and the type has name data, so they match. And now all the blocks that that have other than data type here were unchecked. And have a look. Now I just click on check blockchain. Before we had a lot of repetitions. Now, well, it's even better than I was expecting. No any errors were found. So basically, in case if it would be like 100 duplicates, or could be sometimes even more, with this several clicks, you can solve the problem and increase speed of case solving a lot, which is basically essential, as we know. So now we can just, the chain is ideal, and we click on build logical image, and the image is here, and data should be available, and it is available. So that's the block manager, and that was one of the main features which is not available with markers table. Beside this, of course, as I mentioned, we have here the more convenient interface, where on one screen you can see the dump, the data from a selected block without any additional clicks. You can see the list of blocks, and you can see the settings of LBN position, header position, and basically you can add here some other marker, let's say, which you would like to analyze. It's quite typical. Quite often we need to see, let's say, 55AA metadata. Let's call it like this, which is located on position 510, 511, and now you can change those settings and add it right here in the in this window. And now if I build a table, it will be already here. So again, it's more convenient than it was before, where you would need to, if you're located in markers table and you want to add some other structure which you don't have here, you would need to go to workspace, then go to parameters, change it here, and then only go back to the markers table. Now it's all gathered in one certain place. Let me make this filter one more time. Okay. So that was the block manager. And now let's see what actually is changed from a previous version, because the previous version was like the starting version which we wanted to release, and now, but the markers table is still more, let's say, powerful, because because it's quite old, and all the options that we needed are there. And during this several next updates, all that options will be moved to from markers table to block manager, so it will totally replace the previous element. And now let's see what we improved and moved from markers table in this update. So basically, we added one more button here, the block structure. And now you can see the structure of block in this dump. As if it's necessary for you. Well, sometimes it's quite convenient to check the structure of the dump on a markers table. And you can do this very easy if you click on this button, the block structure, where you can check the full structure of the dump. Also, hex view was not available. Now it's available. If you click it here, so you can see the bitmap and the hex view of the selected block. Also, we added one new button. Well, basically, it's one button was transferred from one more button was transferred from markers table to block manager. It's block sorting. Initially, you had to sort all the blocks clicking on these fields. So same, it's a pretty obvious, I mean, quite logical way to do this. But, you know, normally when you have to sort firstly by use field, then by banks, then by LBN, then by header, by physical addresses, it might take a lot of clicks from you. And when you perform some research, when you analyze, dump, and try to find something, it might be very convenient and necessary to perform. But in many cases, when you just solve the case, you need the standard sorting, same like we had in markers table. And we got it here a little bit, but it's improved. Now there is a default sorting, which is hidden here, so you can expand it and see the default like order of sorting. In first order, the use field will be taken into account, and bank, it will be sorted by banks, by LBN, and so on. So that's the default sorting, the most popular option that we're gonna use normally. And the actual sorting which you have right now, for example, if you need to change something and you need to like sort it firstly by, I don't know, by something, by LBN, and only then by banks for some researchers, you can do this using these buttons, or you can remove sorting rule or add new one. So it's more convenient than it was before, and it's here to make overall process easier. So yeah, that's the block sorting. In case if you still prefer to use that original way to use sorting here, sometimes it could be like you, for example, I don't know, made some mistake and sorted it by LBNs, applied some filters, then by headers, and now you want to redo this sorting which you performed here, and you want to make it from the default. From initial state, you would need to make many clicks here in order to cancel all those filterings and sortings that you did before. We just added, well, small button here which can reset all the sortings that you did. It can reset everything. It can reset sorting, filtering, and grouping. So you can either select what you want to sort if you need to select reset only filtering. So here you are, just reset it like this. So if you want to reset sorting, it will reset sorting. So that's the new sorting button and reset sorting. The next thing was about markers editing. I mean, this LBNs, header, and so on. In the previous version, we had a special tool here where you had to click it, like it's basically similar to what we have in markers table. So you can, you should go to markers edit, and here you can apply some transformation, some editing that you need to perform for some markers, like inversion, for example, or if you want to apply some mask, you can type the mask here and then use it. A new version of markers or block manager works different. You can apply all the transformations, all the editings of markers directly here in the settings. So have a look now. Beside just the position of the structure of the marker, LBN, header, and this metadata marker, you also can apply inversion, you can apply mask, and the new thing which you can apply, the little endian order. In many cases, you can sometimes you can find that the LBN is written in little endian order, and with markers table, you would have to go back to parameters and change the order of blocks here in the parameters, order of bytes, sorry, in parameters, and then rebuild the table and yeah, start over or hold the process. With Block Manager, it's not necessary to do all this complex steps on this long way of transformations. You can just do it directly in the settings of Block Manager. If you will find that the LBN has a little endian order, in fact, like we have here for this AU controller, you can just check this option and the bytes will be swapped. There is only one little thing here that you, and with this option, with this version, you still have to do this via this edit marker button. It's quite obvious and very logical to have ability to make a direct click here and apply inversion like this one, for example. Unfortunately, there are some limitations now with this object, let's say, and we are redoing this now. It will be fixed, and the next option will, next version of utility will allow you to perform this, let's say, straight clicking into the option in order to apply it. Now, if you want to apply inversion on LBN, you need to select it firstly, then click on edit, and then click apply, check on inversion here. Later, it will be improved. You will make it, you will click directly right here. Okay, so that was the editing option. The next one would be the options for building logical image. So here we have the default, let's say, algorithm of building logical image. When the LBN is read from the first page and LPN, like pages just going sequentially according to physical location. But sometimes there could be cases where you might want to arrange blocks by the LBN from the first page of the block, like this one, for example, this option. And LPN should be read from the LPN from the LPN marker. So each page has a number in that block, and if pages are mixed, if there is a block rotation with that pages, so pages are swapped like this. So it might be necessary to use this option. Before it was not possible to do with Block Manager. Now you can do it easily here. But normally, in most of cases, we use normal this option. So it's just for some specific cases. Well, not very specific, but you know, not. In most of cases, we use default building, and for like Phison 07 controllers, this option might be necessary to use. There is also new filtering here. So, for example, if we have many duplicated LBNs, and we can set here filtering like equals, minimal, maximal, and also we can select now. We added option to select LBN or any other marker from a group of duplicates. And you can select either you want to use first in group or last in group. Because sometimes you can find that, for example, you have a case and you have a lot of duplicates. They look the same, more or less the same, but the last LBNN group always has better data, let's say. And you can just select this option. Last in group will be selected. And the last thing about block manager, I would want to show you. So this one. Let me create new case. Save new case now. And at the same time, you can see the database of solutions that we have. So the new case and how it looks like. When you create a new case, you have to select the type of device you are dealing with. In my case, this is a UFD drive. I mean, it's a USB with separate controller and NAND memory. And then I click on OK. Here I select the controller, which is AU6998, like this. And yeah, that's the workspace. Now it's initializing reader. Okay, so that's the workspace. And as you remember, as you know, I hope you know this, the first thing we need to do here is the setting configuration. So I will read the ID and select configuration, apply it. Now it offers me to read the chip. Okay, let me check the quality of reading. Well, the first block seems to be some SLC block. In general, it's reading okay. Of course, I would normally I would check more. I would check the end of page. I would scroll down more, but now I know that the dump is good. And the next step would be to read the chip. So I need to set number of chips, okay, and if the database has solution for this configuration, it offers me to apply it. I will apply, and now it says to me that I need to insert the chip, which is basically already there, and read the dump. But I don't want to do this because I have the dump already on my computer. So I will just select it. Well, actually, it's already here. And what I wanted to show you that that's the solution. Then you go to block manager. Here I need to all the if you have read a solution, all the commands which are necessary to apply for the that is necessary to apply for this list of blocks are here. So normally you don't need to perform any additional steps. You just read the table. Then you would need normally to check the type of blocks, but it takes some time. So I have the selected file where those types are described already. Let's say it's this file, block manager 0 PSF file, where all the information about block types are written. So I will just click on yes, and yeah, all the operations that were necessary to perform here already performed. And basically I have the full logical sequence. I can just check blockchain here, and the sequence is ideal. So nothing is necessary to adjust here or change. And what I wanted to show you that some time ago in some previous webinar, we had even such a question that if it's possible to insert for missing blocks some specific patterns, some specific blocks, because before when we worked with markers table, we always inserted block number 0 because of, again, some limitations of that element. Now, if we know the type of blocks here, so if we can find the block with 0 or block with zeros or with FFs, we basically can use those blocks in order to insert on the position of missing blocks. And that's the last thing I wanted to pay attention on, that for now, for example, if we have some missing blocks, like here, yes, you could see the message that some number of missing blocks were inserted, and all those blocks now look like this. So now it's empty FF blocks, which will not confuse you or logical recovery software if they would be inserted, if some blocks with data would be inserted into the final image. Because sometimes the block number 0 might have which were inserted before by default. That block might have some headers, maybe some kind of data. And if you need to insert a lot of blocks, so that block would be inserted many times, duplicated many times. And then if you run logical recovery software, that information can really confuse the algorithm, because, it will find a lot of information from that block number 0, which is actually totally useless. And it was not the best way to proceed. Now with Block Manager, it's possible to fix, and yes, we did it. So now basically, if you have a look into the Block Manager dump, this one, you will see the data, and then there will be some big areas, these ones, which are filled by FF, but they empty block, and which you have to fill if you want to have the normal logical image. But with previous version, this area, by the way, would be filled with these. Okay, so let me wait a little. Basically, with this block. No, actually, with this one. So this block, which has some counters, which might have some remains of fat tables probably, would be inserted, as far as I remember, 200 something times, and yeah, it would quite decrease speed of analysis for logical recovery software. So that was the new things about Block Manager, which is keep under improvement, which is still under improvement process. We, even after this release, we already added some new things, which you will get quite soon with next update. So please try to use it, and in case of some questions or suggestions, let us know. And yeah, together we will do the beta version of this life, of this world. Okay, the next thing which I would like to show you is basically the solution database viewer. As you remember, some time ago we added database of solutions, and firstly it was not available for users because all the solutions are stored in the software itself, and we had to make the viewer firstly for the solutions, and now it works like this. So now you can go to Databases tab, and there is a button here, Solution Database. And if you click here, you will see the list of solutions. So basically, if you have some device and you need to find the solution for it, the algorithm should provide you that solution. But this is not a human, it's just a software, and sometimes you may have a slightly different device, or sometimes you may see how some specific case is solved and you don't have that case, or you have some similar case, but you suppose that the case from database should can help you somehow. So you might want to see the solution from database, which automatically is not provided to you. So in that case, you can do what? That you can go to solution database, and here you have a filter using which you can find the necessary solution. You can find it by memory chip ID, or by controller name, by device model, device type, or you can just scroll it and see how it looks like. So here we got the list of solutions, and here we have solutions for some monolithic devices where the model is essential. And here you can see the solution itself with parameters. And if you want to check the solution, if you want to see it, you have actually basically two options here: load solution and case parameters, and add solution to workspace. What is the difference between these two? The thing is that when you create the case, you also insert some case parameters, such as a controller name, type of device, memory chip ID, number of chips, and so on. All those parameters are stored into the case in case parameters. And if you found some solution which you want to use in order to apply to your device, if you want to use that solution for basically try to load image which you have maybe from the memory chip already, or you want to read it, then you need to use this first option, and it will load the solution. It will load all the case parameters, all the settings for this specific solution. And also this option will remove all existing elements on workspace. So basically, if I now select this solution and click on load solution to workspace, yes, I got warning that all elements will be removed. And now it's like starting the new case with that solution loaded here. And all the parameters now belong to this solution. Basically, we can see here that memory chip ID is defined, number of chips, the device, and so on and so on. All these things are now in the case. Also, sometimes you may have your solution, and out of curiosity, you want to check some other one, which can maybe suggest you something, how to proceed with it. In that case, you can use the second button, which will only add the elements to workspace and will not change case parameters. So, for example, you might want to have that solution, and also you may want to see one other SanDisk 128 gigabytes solution, and you just click it like this, and you get the second solution to the on the workspace, where you can check some parameters, some orders, so you can compare something and maybe get more ideas if the original solution doesn't work and you don't want to ask help in support. If you want more cases, like third one, you are welcome. Just add it, and you can keep adding those solutions until you will add all of them like this. The workspace will be expanded each time you add a new solution, like this. And once you will find your solution, the one you want to use, then you can again select it and then click load solution and case parameters. All the previous elements will be erased. And yeah, you will get the one solution which you want with your parameters, and you basically everything will be ready to use it. Well, Tim, sure you can. There is an option here, and actually the solution, the VNR always offers you a task to upload solutions to our database, but in fact, this process is quite complex because we made a lot of filters in order to cut, let's say, not good solutions, so only good ones are going to us. In the moment when you get the files in file system, or you get files with file assembler or file carver, you will be asked to upload solution to our database. Such a button will appear here, and when you will click on that button, it will provide you with details which you need to fill, which you need to adjust. Then the solution will be sent to us. We will review the solution and edit later in a database. And in fact, there are some solutions already from our clients, such as Interdata Recovery, Thailand, and one more, and yeah, DPR or CDR Labs. So yeah, it's possible to send solutions to us. And now it's possible to look on solutions and checking them on the workspace. And basically, that was the main things of this update. Also, we added option to change voltage with a step of 100 millivolts in configuration for memory chips. And it's quite essential. It might be essential for some monolithic devices, because with the standard values, it might, sometimes provide you with not the best dump quality. And if you will lower voltage a little, sometimes problem might be related to the fact that the controller is still trying to do something, and in fact it doesn't work normally and just makes the dump worse. But if we disable controller, it might become better. So if you will use sometimes 100 volts less, it may disable controller, and dump quality might be better after this. Yeah, and of course we added some new NAND chips, XOR keys, ECC, and so on, and several new pinouts also added to the database. So that was our update. I hope you guys will enjoy it, and let us know what you think about it. In case if you still need something else, something more, of course we will try to edit. Let's see what we got here in the chat. Why is logical image option in block manager? Well, because we suppose that it's easier to have one element instead of two. Like in case of markers table, you have two elements. Block manager has both these elements inside, and if you need to have blocks arranged, but service area must still be there after the block manager, you just want to continue to use the this chain, like you need to apply some other transformations. Then here in the parameters of block manager, you can change data structure. Basically, these parameters are similar to parameters of logical image. So logical image will leave only this structure, which is selected here in the DOM. And normally data area is selected, so only data area is left on a logical image, and yeah, the service area is removed. In case if you and the same thing you have in block manager. By default, data area is selected, so only data area will be here. If you want to have a full page, then you need to select here the page, and then the blocks will be arranged according to the block manager, but you will still get the data the service area, and you can just continue to use it like without this element. Well, the grouping option basically could be used, for example, when you want to group something, when you want to group blocks by something, and sometimes you might want to evaluate number of some blocks with data, for example, and then you can use this option to group by block type, and you will see the all the blocks with data here, all the blocks with no data. So basically the usage of this option is up to you. When you perform some research, when you perform some specific things, it might be quite convenient to use. Also, it could be nice for filtering. It was like necessary. It was good to perform filtering by like last object in group, first object in group. For now, we got this option, so maybe grouping is not necessary now, but still you can use it. So I guess that's all. If you have any questions about something about chip reading, so yes, welcome to the support center. You will get full answer on this question. And thanks for participating with us on this webinar. Please use this update, and stay in touch in case of some questions and suggestions. Let us know. Thank you, guys. See you.